As many of you know from being in class with me, I tend to make a lot of jokes and consider myself to be quite funny. Anyone who considers themselves to be funny knows what it's like to tell a joke and have no one laugh. It's a bad feeling. I know this because it has been the case for myself a few times. There's always a lot of ways we can avoid those awkward silences after a joke, and I'll be addressing those later in my presentation. To start off, my name is Bailey Wilson, and I will be discussing how to use humor in a presentation. I am no comedian, but I know that the most important thing about using humor, or trying to be funny, is to know the different types of humor and which one is best for your personality. Today I will talk about the 5 most common types of humor. The first one is a pun. A pun is making a joke of a word or words that sound alike, but have a completely different meaning. An example of a pun is, I wonder why the baseball was getting bigger. Then it hit me. The second type of humor is sarcasm. This is my personal favorite. Sarcasm is when you say the opposite of what you are obviously feeling or thinking. For example, if you see someone being lazy and you say, "Don't work too hard," you're being sarcastic. The third type of humor is storytelling. Storytelling is exactly what it sounds like. What makes a story funny, though, is the punchlines and unexpected events. Storytelling is harder than other types of humor because it requires a really good narrator. Comedians like Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and Cat Williams tend to be very good at storytelling and oftentimes find a way to incorporate all 5 of these different types of humor into their stories. The next type of humor is one of the easiest, and it's exaggeration. Exaggeration is also exactly what it sounds like. It is simply just over-exaggerating something. For example, "I'm so hungry I could eat a cow." We've all heard that one, and we've all probably said something like that. The last and what seems to be the most popular type of humor these days is self-depreciation, which is pretty much just roasting yourself. An example of this would be, they say dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And then something along the lines of, "My boss told me a robe and slippers wasn't a good look for me." Now that you know the most common types of humor people tend to use, it is important you choose the ones that work best with your personality. Storytelling might be easier for some than others, depending on your strengths. I'm not a good narrator, so storytelling isn't always my best strength. If you view yourself as somewhat sassy or quick-witted, like I consider myself, sarcasm might be your best shot. If you find yourself making more simple jokes, then puns and exaggeration could be the best for you. The easiest way to know which one works best for you is to see which one gets the most laughs when you execute it or when you tell the joke. Another thing to take into consideration is your audience. You need to know the age group and the formality in which you are presenting, and incorporate that when you're thinking about your humor. Knowing your audience helps you narrow down what types of humor will get the most laughs. Everybody wants to be funny. Everyone loves to hear other people laughing at their jokes. Now let's talk about some of the things that may help you during your attempt to be funny. The first thing, and the most important, I would say, is to be confident. Being confident helps you avoid messing up the joke. Along with confidence, you need to remember not to laugh at your own joke, or be the first person to laugh at your own joke. By being the first person to laugh, you take away the audience's desire to laugh, pretty much. When you laugh, you have essentially just laughed for them. So it's important not to laugh at your own joke first. I am always the first person to laugh at my joke, and I can tell you, people think I am way funnier when I am not trying to be funny or I don't laugh at my own joke. The last thing to remember is that not everyone is going to laugh, and that's okay. I might find sarcasm funnier than puns, so if you tell me a pun, I'm not gonna laugh. Don't be discouraged or feel embarrassed if no one laughs. It happens to everyone who thinks that they're funny. Just keep your confidence and keep trying. All of this is important when considering how to use humor in the workplace. You need to know your audience especially, but being humor can make you stand out in a crowd and keep your audience engaged. So overall, if you know your audience and you know which kind of humor is going to work best for you, you should be able to execute humor in a presentation successfully.